Hello, and thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Tech Total Access. I'm your host, Izzy Post. Here with me to recap the latest in Hokie sports are our analysts Ryan Dye and Umberto Zarco. The women's basketball team started the Kenny Brooks era hosting UNC Asheville. Reporter Grayson Wimbish has more.
I'm here where the Virginia Tech Hokies just beat UNC Asheville 71-52. The Virginia Tech women's basketball team started off their season with a hard-earned victory over the UNC Asheville 49ers. While the momentum did not initially favor the Hokies, players Shanette Hicks, Reagan McGarity, and Sydney Cook all rose to the very early challenge, scoring a combined 46 of the Hokies' total 71 points. Senior Sammy Hill also demonstrated an aggressive, fast-paced defensive effort, which allowed for the Hokies to pull away easily in the fourth quarter. After the game, newly hired women's basketball coach Kenny Brooks had this to say about his first signature win as a Hokie. And I quote, "I'm very, very proud of the kids," Brooks said. "UNC Asheville is a really good opponent for us to start with. They won a lot of basketball games last year, had a lot of success, and returned their whole starting group. I'm proud of how our kids showed a lot of resolve. We got off to a sluggish start and didn't panic. We regrouped at halftime, we challenged them, and they came out and responded in a great way. I'm very proud of them. It's a great first step for us." For VTTV, I'm Grayson Wimbish, signing off.
The team then hosted Georgetown. Reporter Marcos Granada has more.
Hey guys, I'm reporting from Castle Coliseum where the Hokies just beat their opponent Georgetown 73-63.
The Hokies combined for a great win in this close game in which two players stood out from the rest. Reagan McGarity, who scored 23 points and grabbed 8 rebounds, and Samantha Hill, who scored 14 points and grabbed 5 rebounds in 38 minutes of play. Georgetown led at the end of the first 3 quarters, but in a 22-10 run by the Hokies in the fourth, they were able to come back and lead the game, and there were still 9 minutes to play of the final period. From this moment, they never lost the advantage and managed to end the game with the final score being 73-63. The Hokies shot a remarkable 31 for 40 from free throw line. In contrast of Georgetown's 4 for 8, it was a very nice work of the team forcing fouls and going to the line repeatedly. Overall, it was a great team effort in this win by the Hokies, who are now 2-0 in this beginning of the season. At the end of the game, Reagan McGarity, Samantha Hill, and coach Kenny Brooks gave a press conference and shared their thoughts about the game.
I know they've won some games in the past, but this is really good stepping stone for us just to learn our identity of who we are and what we can be. So very proud of them. I thought so many people stepped up in different ways. I thought Reagan McGarity was absolutely awesome tonight. Inside, outside, just tough, grabbing rebounds. I thought Shanette Hicks did a really good job, particularly in the second half, of running the show, attacking, doing some good job of distributing. Sammy Hill did a really good job on Adamako, who I think is a future pro. So it was just a really good overall effort. We had some freshmen who came in and showed a little grit and toughness, so which we're going to need here in the future. But just overall, it was a great win for us, and as we continue on to try to form our identity.
I mean, this year we definitely want to play faster. It's more free movement, read the defense. We have a lot of trust for each other. He talks a lot about having your sister's back, so it's definitely coming from practice. So we know that if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, Sammy will always have my back. So I think that trust has definitely helped us in games.
I agree. It's pretty nice to win the first 2 games, especially how we did it. Kind of got off to a slow start, but I think we really came together in both of these past 2 games, second halves, and it shows that we're always willing to fight for each other. If one person's not hitting, we'll find the person who is. And on defense, I really think everybody's playing amazing defense. I feel like there's no drop-off anywhere, so it's really nice to see, and to come out with these 2 wins is pretty big and gets us off to a good start.
Reporting from Castle Coliseum, I'm Marcos Granda for Virginia Tech Total Access.
So what did you guys think to the start of the season?
Well, let me just say that I'm really intrigued by the hire of Kenny Brooks. He spent a lot of time, 14 seasons at JMU, 11 postseason appearances, and 6 NCAA tournament appearances, so I'm really intrigued by that. And the players have really gone through a really grueling offseason conditioning program. I've heard a lot of them somewhat complaining about the running that they've been doing, but I think it's paid off as they forced 18 turnovers to overcome what really was a slow start against UNC Asheville. And sophomore Jeanette Hicks led the team with 24 points, I believe, which is a career high. And I think against Georgetown, they really trailed for a lot of the game, and I think that's where the conditioning comes in, where you can close out a game. Good teams find ways to win close games, and I think that's where it comes in.
Right, and Georgetown's not a pushover. I mean, they're the kind of school that you're going to want to beat early on in his run like this. And I mean, from every interaction I've had with Kenny, he seems like he's going to be a great coach here. It's going to take a while. They're going to look great right now, and then they're going to hit ACC play, and they're going to hit these hard teams. They're going to get Duke, and they're going to get Carolina. And even the non-conference, they've got Tennessee coming up in a couple weeks. And they have Nebraska coming up. They go to Auburn. So he has already taken the non-conference schedule and started to push that up more. So I think there's going to be some growing pains, but it's definitely a great start.
The volleyball team hosted Duke but fell short.
Hi, I'm Sydney Dittmar. I'm here at Castle Coliseum, where the Virginia Tech Hokies just lost to their ACC rivals, Duke University. At Friday night's game, Hokies played a difficult game in Castle Coliseum against their ACC rivals, the Blue Devils. This turned out to be a tough game for the Hokies since they unfortunately lost all 3 sets. In the first set, the Hokies started out strong and kept up with the Blue Devils, so that they were evenly matched throughout the first set. But around the 14th point, Duke gained momentum and won the first set 25-16. The next 2 sets had similar scores of 17-25 and 15-25. The Hokies did have some great plays and made a total of 6 team blocks. There were also some big spikes made by Amanda McKenzie. The fans were in no shortage either, as they came to cheer the Hokies on during this tough battle against Duke University. Even though it was a tough game, the Hokies gave it their all against their tough adversaries, Duke University.
From BCTV, this is Sydney Dittmar. The girls then hosted Wake Forest for Senior Day. Reporter Courtney Snookus has more.
I'm here at Virginia Tech, where the Hokies just beat Wake Forest 3-0. It was senior night for the Virginia Tech volleyball team on Sunday, and the seniors played a huge role in the Hokies' victory over Wake Forest. Virginia Tech was able to win the first 3 sets against the Deacons in a dominating performance. Senior Lindsay Owens led the way, registering a double-double with 20 digs and 15 kills. Senior Amanda McKenzie also had an outstanding double-double performance with 12 kills and 10 digs. Tech was behind 5-1 early in the first set, but was able to rally and defeat Wake Forest 25-22 in the first set. That helped the Hokies gain momentum and lead them to a strong 25-16 win in the second set and a 25-19 win in the last set. The Hokies were very happy with their performance.
I thought we performed really well. They were digging a lot this game. Their libero was phenomenal, and I thought we just kept hitting, kept making them staying disciplined, and I think we just played really low air for the amount of times that they kept getting the ball back. We didn't make unforced errors and hit the ball out.
It was just an honor to have the seniors night tonight, and we just love those kids so much, and Katie, Amanda, and Lindsay have meant so much to our program that we wanted to go out on a good note and hopefully play as well as we can. I thought they both played great, and it was a good team win tonight.
I would say tonight was a pretty good blocking match for us, but that's usually always what we need to improve on, is getting low and press and getting close, and then our defensive touches, that's what we work on, making every ball as perfect as we can.
Courtney Snookus signing off for VTTV Sports.
What did you guys think of these performances as our season starts to wrap up?
I think it's the kind of thing you want, especially for the seniors getting the win over Wake Forest, especially sweeping them. It's been kind of a long, hard season. They went very well in non-conference play, and then they got into ACC play, and things didn't go the way they wanted to. Duke swept them this weekend. But I think in the long run, especially for Amanda and for Lindsay Owens, players like that, it's good for them to have huge games against Wake Forest in their careers, especially at home.
Yeah, speaking of a long season, I think they've dropped 9 of their last 11. It's just tough to take the court every or every game when you just expect to lose against good teams like Duke. I think they got Player of the Week and Freshman of the Week for their performances against us, and it's just a tough way to play. But I give them credit for rebounding and playing the way they did and sending out the seniors the way they deserve in their last game at Castle.
Right, and I saw on Twitter today that they've already picked up 3 players on their NLIs. So that's good that that players are going to start to want to come here. And if they're going to make the next step, you're going to have to start bringing in better classes.
Coming up after the break, we'll discuss the men's soccer team's postseason future, football, and men's basketball. Stay tuned.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov/earthquake today.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Welcome back to Tech Total Access. The wrestling team hosted Chattanooga. Reporter Mel Christ has more.
I'm Mel Christ reporting from the Moss Arts Center at Virginia Tech, where the Virginia Tech Hokies wrestling team just defeated Chattanooga 29-6. Virginia Tech is one of the top-ranked wrestling teams in the country right now.
The Hokies, ranked number 6, improved their record against Chattanooga, ranked 24, at the Moss Arts Center in front of a sold-out crowd on Sunday, November 13th at 1 p.m. Joey Dance, ranked number 3 in his weight class, Dennis Gustafson, Solomon Chisco, ranked number 6 in his weight class, Sal Mastriani, Zach Epperly, ranked number 2 in his weight class, Zach Zavatsky, ranked number 10 in his weight class, Jared Hott, ranked number 3 in his weight class, and heavyweight Ty Walls, ranked number 3 in his weight class, helped pull out critical wins for the Hokie wrestling team. Next, the Hokies will take on number 23, University of Northern Iowa, and number 5, Missouri. Here's what Coach Kevin Dresser had to say about the match.
All right, Coach, just opening thoughts on how you thought you guys did today.
I think we progressed. It's still early in the year, and after last weekend, I felt like we were just so average, and I would rate us above that overall as a team. You always have when you're putting 10 guys out on the mat. You always have kind of mixed feelings in that. We feel really good about certain weights, and other weights we probably didn't attack enough, and. But overall, I think the effort was better, and we've got a super tough weekend coming up next Sunday. We'll be wrestling in an arts center, just exactly like this or similar to this in Columbia, Missouri, with the 3rd-ranked team in the nation. So we'll find out what we're really made of. And then Friday night we're at the University of Northern Iowa. So we've got 2 really tough opponents on the road. So we needed to get out here and improve, and I felt like we did improve.
From VTTV, I'm Mel Christ.
So what did you guys think about this matchup?
Well, it was really a pretty dominant win against the number 23 team in the country. I talked to Coach Dresser after the match, and the team has national championship expectations, and I think they've managed it really well thus far, really taking it to teams that may not be at their level, but it really starts in November, just trying to come back into that level of competition and the speed of competing against actually good wrestlers, and just to see the kind of intensity that they displayed this weekend that wasn't maybe there against VMI last weekend, just seeing the way Sal put on a great display with the Mercy Rule defeat, and seeing the heavyweight, he actually took down the guys so hard they actually have to force an injury timeout. So, and the guys that was an All-American last year, so it was a pretty good display by them, just seeing that intensity pick up as they head to what actually matters, which is the ACC championship and hopefully the national championship.
Right, and I love the wrestling in the Moss Center. That is such a cool thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Castle is great, but when you put them in it's such a unique setting for any sport. It's kind of like the Battle at Bristol in football this year. It's really unique, and they're 6-0 inside there.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, and you beat Chattanooga convincingly, and it's really good because you have a big weekend coming up. Friday they're going to go to number 23 Northern Iowa, and when you think of wrestling, you either think of Penn State or you think of Iowa. So Northern Iowa, even though they're not Iowa, they're still going to get those kind of second-tier guys that want to stay in the state, right? And then after that, they're going to go to number 5 Missouri, and they're ranked number 6. So this is a big chance this weekend to prove just how good you are to the country.
The baseball team tagged up with the Corps of Cadets for this year's Shave for the Brave. Reporter Adit Mahmood has more.
I'm here at the drill field where men's baseball team just participated in the 7th annual Shave for the Brave event. The Shave for the Brave event is the central event of the team's campaign to help the community in 19 ways. Over the last 6 years, the team has raised about $130,000 and hopes to get past $150,000 with this event. This year, the baseball team has teamed up with the Virginia Tech Corps of Cadets. This event supports the St. Baldrick's Foundation, an organization that helps raise money for cancer research. This partnership was made possible with the mother of Levi Brown, a child who was diagnosed with medulloblastoma when he was 4. He is now 16, cancer-free, and an adopted member of the team. To some of the coaches and players for their thoughts. I think it brings us all together. Once we're all here, we're all getting in good shape. We all look the same. We're already a brotherhood, so this just brings us a little bit closer.
Exactly. Doing it now with the Corps of Cadets out on the field, it really brings everyone together, like Patty said, and just a great event for the cause that we're doing for.
Really the community, Virginia Tech as a whole, not just here on campus or here in Blacksburg, but throughout the Mid-Atlantic. We have an unbelievable platform to do great things within this community because of how much pride there is from our current students and our alumni network. So I think that's probably the reason why we've been able to sustain the campaign as long as we have and really keep it as strong as it's ever been, and hopefully we'll continue to grow.
From Tech Total Access, it's Adit Mahmood.
The men's soccer team received an NCAA bid and will host ETSU, but we will have more on that next week. So what do you guys think needs to happen going into this NCAA tournament?
Well, they drew ETSU, so travel's not going to be a factor. ETSU's in Johnson City, Tennessee. That's just a couple-hour drive up 81. That's not an issue. ETSU's a great team. And if they win, I'm looking forward here a little bit, but if they do win, they're going to head to Charlotte. And that's a team that they just played a couple weeks ago to a 0-0 draw here at home. So if you beat ETSU and then you go to Charlotte, and even if it's 0-0 again and you go to penalty kicks, if you can somehow get an upset there, then suddenly you're moving along. That's all it takes is one win.
Absolutely. And when you think about tournament scenarios where you just have to win that one game, I think it's really in our favor where we haven't really lost any games convincingly. I think every game we've been in have been really close games, especially against top-level ACC competition. So we're battle-tested going into the tournament, and hopefully they can pick up that win and pick up some momentum, and anything can really happen.
Right, the ACC is the best conference in the country when it comes to soccer, men's, women's. It doesn't matter. So they're battle-tested. I don't know that Charlotte is or ETSU is. We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, and we will have more on that game in the next episode. The men's basketball team opened their season against Maine. I was there. Take a look. I'm here in Castle Coliseum where the Hokies just defeated Maine 80-67. The basketball team opened their season against Maine, coming off their first postseason appearance in 5 years and getting players Ahmed Hill and Ty Outlaw back. There was a lot of buzz around the team. The game started off slow, but the Hokies still showed their experience over the Black Bears. Zach Leday hit 8 of 14 from the floor and grabbed 12 rebounds for his 13th double-double of his career. Ahmed Hill had 14 points, along with Justin Robinson having 13 and Chris Clark with 12, putting 4 players on the team with double digits. At one point, the team had a 25-point lead. Point guard Justin Robinson joined us after the game.
Hi, Justin Robinson from the basketball team. Let's start off by, what's your name?
I'm Izzy Post. I'm the sports director for Virginia Tech Television.
Okay, perfect. What were your takeaways from tonight's game?
I think we were definitely slow to start, but we have a really good potential going. You know, we got High Point coming up. That's another out of conference. But once we get to in-conference play, I think we can really see what happens.
So besides what happened bad, what happened good?
Definitely, I like the way Ahmed Hill came out, especially after his injury. There was a lot of good plays, especially from freshmen like C, and then our returners like yourself, as well as Justin and Zach. Everything looked pretty good. The ball was rolling, picked up right where you left off.
That's good. God, I ran out.
Hokies return home to take on High Point and Castle Coliseum. I'm Izzy Post, Tech Total Access. What did you guys think to the start of the season?
It was a little rough, actually. With all the preseason hype, I guess people kind of expected a well-oiled machine. That's not what you got. Justin Bibbs didn't look very good shooting the ball. There for a while, especially the first half, it looked really bad. But then things kind of started to settle down. They're really, talent-wise, far superior. And that's just what it comes down to. And they were up by 25 late in the game. A 13-0 run kind of brought it back to make it look respectable, at least. But it's what you want. You want them to look better in the second half, for sure.
But I think the expectations can be that double-edged sword where it weighs on you and you expect to kind of go in and just roll Maine, but they came in with obviously wanting to start their season off really well. But I think we ended up seeing a pretty balanced attack with, I think, 4 players going into double figures, which is good to see because you don't want to become too dependent on one player. So I think it's an encouraging start. It might not be the display that we wanted to see, the fireworks that we were expecting, but I think it's overall a good start.
Absolutely. The men are taking on High Point, but we will have more on that game next episode. Coming up after the break, we will talk about the football team's trap game against Georgia Tech. Stay tuned.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener and loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Welcome back to Tech Total Access. The football team hosted Georgia Tech. I was there as well. Take a look. I'm here in Lane Stadium where the Hokies just lost to Georgia Tech 30-20. The football team hosted Georgia Tech for their second-to-last home game of the season. Looking to clinch the division, the Hokies had to figure out a way to stop the triple option that Georgia Tech's offense presented. Missing Terrell Edmonds for the first half and Greg Stroman to an injury, the problem started from the first play when Darion Green fumbled the kickoff return. Georgia Tech was able to put up 21 points on the Hokies in the first half. Joey Sly missed a crucial field goal, and Gerard Evans threw his third and fourth pick of the season. Evans was able to run for 2 scores and complete a touchdown pass to Isaiah Ford, but a missed 2-point attempt ended the game with the Hornets in a 10-point lead. Here's what Coach Fuente had to say after the game.
Well, it wasn't what we'd like it to be, that's for sure. It's always easy for a coach to say we never got in flow or in rhythm and all that kind of stuff, which is true, but there are reasons for that. Our execution level just hasn't been, or it certainly wasn't today what it needed to be. When we did get things going, we couldn't, we either turned the ball over or couldn't convert on a third down.
The Hokies still control their Coastal Division fate going to the ACC Championships with UNC's loss over to Duke. They win the tiebreaker with the Hurricane blowout. If the Hokies can win at UVA, they will be headed to Orlando. In Lane Stadium, I'm Izzy Post, Tech Total Access. What did you guys think about this pretty bad performance?
I wasn't ready for it, to be honest. I kind of thought they were to the point now where they were going to start to get over these kind of performances. We kind of saw it against Syracuse. They fell into the trap. This offense of Georgia Tech, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It shortens the game. You're not going to get possessions. And when you start by fumbling the ball on the opening kickoff and then giving up points, and then you go down 20-0 against this team, it's impossible to come back against them unless you're in Alabama or somebody like that. You can't do that. And, we saw exactly what happens. You're going to get beaten.
Even then, 4 turnovers to a team that controls the clock, you're not going to win that game. To me, it felt just so similar to the scenario we were going into the Syracuse game, but in some ways you felt like we could win it with the division on the line. You felt like we could win this one, but I was really discouraged by the performance, and after seeing the way they performed at the Battle of Bristol and then seeing the way they performed with the chance to win the division, I'm starting to feel a little worried about the end of the season here.
I think if anything, now you have a chance to clinch the division against UVA. They're going to be up naturally for that game anyways. Okay, it's the rival. They've 12 straight wins against them. But so now you add in this, and I think it might have helped them a little bit to get this loss out of the way. Because had they beat Georgia Tech to win the division, then you have to worry about these last 2 games. Do they kind of naturally just lit up?
And people are thinking that with this loss, the sky is falling. And a lot of the media had to reassure fans that at this point last year, we were 5-6 battling UVA for that bowl game spot. Right now, we are still leading the division, and we're still going to Orlando as long as we beat UVA, and we're 7-3 right now. This is a big turnaround, especially with the new coach and the new year coming on.
Right, and fans need and just calm down. As Aaron Rodgers said, relax. It's okay.
Perspective by Izzy Post coming to a store near you.
just relax. It's fine. They're going to be okay. I guess I'll spoiler. I think they're going to beat Notre Dame, but I think they're not going to lose to UVA. The talent level is too far, and Bronco Mendenhall's done a great job, but it's too far. They're going to win this division. They're going to go to Orlando, and if they can upset Clemson, then the fans are going to pile back on and stuff. But you just got to calm down right now.
Mm-hmm. Coaches and players also addressed the media, looking forward to their road game at Notre Dame. Take a look.
Got to get ready for Notre Dame. I like the way our kids showed up to work yesterday. We had a good workout, and we'll have a good week of preparation, and we'll need it. I know Notre Dame's record's not what they would like it to be. They've had some changes over there with a new defensive coordinator. They've had a few injuries throughout the season. They're getting guys back and healthy and playing at a really high level now. And they're going to be a tremendous challenge. So it's a challenge our kids are looking forward to. We're all looking forward to, and hopefully have a good week.
At the time, I was just trying to make a play for my team, and it was kind of unfortunate. The play before, I felt like I should have had that one, and we got another chance at it, and I went to Gerard, and Gerard kind of gave me that look like he knew it was coming back to me, so we had it. But like you said, the win would have been more important, and we didn't get it. So
he's a solid quarterback. He can stay in the pocket and make every throw, and he can also move, and he can run, and he can make plays with his feet. So he's trying to be a solid quarterback on film so far.
I don't know. Like you said, I've played in a lot of pretty cool stadiums. It's been a lot of fun, but honestly, don't really sit back and think about it that much. At the end of the day, it's still just a game, so just go out and play. So, there has been a lot of fun places to play at, but it's still just a regular football field when it comes down to it.
So So what do you guys think the team has to do to finish this season out and turn it around?
Well, you got to beat Notre Dame. That's the first thing. It's kind of weird this late in the season to have a non-conference game. Some teams do this. Florida plays Florida State. Georgia plays Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Clemson. There's these natural rivalries like that. But this is the last time Virginia Tech had a road game, or not a road game, but just out a conference game this late was ECU, and this was probably 5-6 years ago. So it's a little weird to have one this late, but in a way I think it helps because you don't have to worry about the division this week. You can instead just worry about getting better, to use their catchphrase, and to go 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, it's just a weird trip or a weird time to take your first trip to South Bend. Like, what a time to be alive, I guess, for the Hokies. And I think it's a good chance, like you said, to get better for that winner go-home match against UVA that I think might be closer than most people actually have it. Granted, of course, the talent level is completely different, and they've clearly went through a quarterback change, I think, last week, and that's not obviously something you want to do during the season, but I think it might be closer. I think UVA is going to get up for that game, and they don't want to spoil our season, so I think we really got to get back on it and limit the turnovers and start forcing Deshaun Kaiser to kind of throw off his back foot and get him a little rattled to make him not be able to take the game over, because we know he can.
I'm interested to see Gerard Evans' performance. Granted, he threw 2 picks against Georgia Tech last week, but he only has 4 picks on the season to 22 touchdowns.
Right.
That is incredible efficiency. So I'm interested to see how he plays in this non-conference game going up against a dynamic quarterback.
It also kind of depends on what defense shows up for Notre Dame, because they started the season, they were terrible on defense. They fired their defensive coordinator. Things have kind of started to look a little bit better. They haven't given up 30 points since when they fired him. So I think it comes down to Gerard making smart decisions. I think you're going to have to start running the ball, period. And I know Fuente says he doesn't care where the yards come from, but at some point your running backs are going to have to be able to run the ball between the tackles. It can't all come from sweeps.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think the score is going to be?
I think the moment will get to them a little bit. It's a very large stadium. It's going to be loud. Notre Dame has to win their last 2 games to even make a bowl. I think it'll be closer than what some people think. I'm going to say somewhere around 31-27.
I have to admit, I've been pretty discouraged, like I said, by the performance at the Battle of Bristol, and last week with the division on the line. I think Notre Dame will beat him by 10 pretty convincingly, actually.
I think that it's going to be a very close game, a lot of lead changes back and forth, but I think Virginia Tech will squeak out 27-30. So that's not all. We also hit the streets of downtown Blacksburg to ask students their thoughts on the game. Reporter Maddie McVeigh has more.
I'm here in downtown Blacksburg talking to some Hokies about the loss against Georgia Tech and the upcoming game at Notre Dame.
We caught a couple plays slipping. It happens. We messed up a little bit here and there. But I still think we're the better team. That's why we still have a chance for the ACC championship game.
It's a shame that we keep losing to teams that we shouldn't.
It was slightly disappointing, though I get it kind of expected, because we tend to have really big letdown games whenever we're like at the precipice of being great. So hopefully our new coach can kind of change that sort of mindset and make us be a really great team.
Hopefully we can pull out a win. I know Notre Dame beat Army or Navy or whoever by a couple touchdowns, so hopefully we'll have a better game than what we saw here the other day.
I hope we win.
The disappointment that we had from losing last week is definitely going to give our players motivation to be a lot better than they were last time.
Because God knows Gerard Evans, Trayvon McMillan, Isaiah Ford, and Bucky Hodges can come out and play them to the best of their abilities.
Virginia Tech 38, Notre Dame 32.
100-0 Tech.
100-0 Tech.
We're going to win by about, I say 35-17 maybe.
We'll both be in Notre Dame. Real prediction, I think an accurate thing we could both say was
36-23.
Yeah, somewhere in that range, where Tech is winning by 10+ points, because Gerard in the offense is going to come out to play and the defense knows what is on the line, and they're going to both come out, both sides of the ball are going to come out to play, and we're going to crush Notre Dame and be ready for UVA to go out to the ACC championship.
For VTTV, I'm Maddie McVeigh.
That's all we have on this week's episode of Tech Total Access. From all of us here, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Tune back in 2 weeks for more hard-hitting sports action. And as always,
Go Hokies!